right, guys, how y'all doing today? I am super excited, man. I got a special guest, already living history. So I'll let her tell you all about that in a second. But I got J Sims here. Simmons. J Simmons, my bad. Because I always call her first song. I call her top.
You call me whatever you want.
We'll get into her military story in a second. But yeah, so I'm excited about this interview. This has been a long time coming. A lot of recruitment, calling in friends,
right?
All that. I had all the people working behind the scenes, like make sure she opens my message and all that. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good.
Man, it's good to have you here. This is on my end a realization of determination because I was determined to get you on my team.
And here I am.
So I know here you are. So I'll give the viewers a backstory before we kind of go into it. I've been aware of who First Sergeant Simmons, soon to be Command Sergeant Major Simmons. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on her. I've been aware of her for years because of her military accolades. And so a lot of my mentors in the military, for those of you who don't know, I served 21 years in the military and I retired. So while I was in the military, there's different people that, I was mentored by that also mentor her. And so I've heard her story and got to see her triumphs and all that kind of stuff, but I never met her in person. And so let's start with that. That's how we're going to open this thing up. So I'll let you tell everybody, why are you a military hero? Why are you seen as a superstar? Don't be humble. Go ahead and open up the door. Tell everybody why I sought you out. What is the big deal?
I mean, so I guess the big deal is that in 2019, I graduated from Ranger School as the first Black woman.
Right.
I was the second enlisted. At the time, it was just officers,
Yeah.
So I guess that is the big deal. Somebody called me a celebrity the other day.
You are.
I am just Jay. That's how I see it, to other people. And I know I made history. The Army's been around for a long time.
Right.
So we, the goal is to shatter ceilings that way. In a later date, it's just a norm.
100%.
Just create a new standard that way. When women go through, men do this, no matter what color, where we're just shattering those ceilings that way. When I'm long, retired with my little cane or whatever, but it's pretty cool. It is very humbling. God chose me for a reason because the torch is heavy. But I'm definitely willing to carry it and bring whoever along the way.
I knew she was going to be humble about it. It's all good. I knew it. I was like, let's see what she does with this. But I won't let you be so humble about it. So what does it take to become an Army Ranger? A lot of people who don't have any kind of military ties, they may have a cousin or a brother or father or uncle, somebody in their family went to a Ranger school. And so they know of the term, but they don't really know what goes into it.
Right.
So you, again, I'm going to repeat this fact. You were the second female, right? Period, right?
Second enlisted
female,
I think
right?
Overall, I was like number 30, 28, 30, something like that. I never really looked into it.
And the first African American.
Yep.
I love it. So let's talk about what is Ranger School and why is it so. For those of you who don't know, it's not just like an Army school. It's one of the hardest, if not the hardest, Army school. So tell us about that.
So Ranger School, the way I've been in the military and the way I see it is the elite.
Right.
It is the elite, physically, mentally, emotionally. When people ask me what was the hardest part about Ranger School, I think it was the courage to sign up.
Oh man, that's true.
Because it took me. So Ranger School, I think it was like 2015, 2016. That's when it became open for women. And my mentor, she was like, "Hey, why don't you go?" Because I was physically not as fit as I am now, but I was a really good soldier. Not a superstar yet. And I was like, "Hell no."
Oh, wait. See, you gloss over so many things when you tell these stories. I can't let you gloss over this part. You were not just in the Army. You were a drill instructor.
Oh, yeah. Best job I ever had.
So you were leading soldiers. You were
wearing
the hat. You were doing your thing,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. So, at the time, I was a drill instructor. So I was a drill sergeant. Then I became a drill instructor. That's when you teach NCOs how to be drill sergeants. Prior to that, she said, "Why do you go?" I was like, absolutely not, because I was just instantly scared of, carrying an 80-pound ruck, not eating, not sleeping.
Hold on, say 80 pounds? 80-pound rucksack.
So the net
right.
weight of the ruck, I would argue, is anywhere between 50 and 60. That's just what they want you to carry because you're always on the road. So imagine like you know, walking from Charlotte to Fayetteville. What are the necessities you need to survive? So we had everything that we need to survive in that ruck. Now, every patrol, every mission, you're carrying ammo, you're carrying weapons, you're carrying litters, you're carrying all this extra stuff that just wants to break your back.
now, listen. I'm gonna beat you up on this because we got to talk about this stuff for a while before we go into what we really want to talk about. What's the attrition rate for this school?
Man,
it's not just something you just sign up for and you just make it through.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So when I started day one, I think we had about 360 something. Yeah. After week one, so that's called rap week, when everything is black and white. Either you meet the standard or you don't. Running, push-ups, sit-ups, rucking, land-nav, all that. Yeah. After that first week, we were down to like 150.
So instantly, half the people already gone off.
And it's not like a different, other military school where they're like, oh, we'll give you 72 hours to fit. You didn't do what? All right, get out. Yeah. So sign this, get out. So
listen. So you show up. It's majority men, right? Like 99%
all men. 99.9%.
Right? Yeah, and half those men are already knocked out of the school day one.
Day one.
And you keep pushing.
Man. And that was pretty. So before I went to Ranger school, I went to pre-Ranger. I didn't want to go, but my leadership wanted me to go. That's where I found out that I could hang with the boys.
Okay.
Because we had to do everything: obstacle course, run, ruck. I was never first, but I would say I was always top 20%.
Yeah.
So to me, I was speaking to myself. I was like, hey, like, you could keep up. I was just doing that self-talk. So when I went to Ranger school, I was no longer terrified.
I got you.
I was like, hey, because I trained.
Yeah.
I knew what work I put in. You weren't going to outruck me. You weren't going to outrun me.
Yeah.
Was I the fastest? No. But again, top 10, top 20%. Hands down. And I trained from, I think, like July through February.
Okay.
So I knew from a physical aspect I was ready.
Yeah.
And mentally, I was number one.
I love it.
Nobody was going to be mentally stronger than I was.
Love it.
Because I wanted to be there.
Yeah. And
I'm an air defender. You don't just show up and, so.
That's one thing about you that really stood out. It's just your mental toughness.
Right.
Because that's an aspect of the school that is vital.
Yes.
So how were you able to be mentally tough to be amongst all those men in a situation where, there was always challenges every single day? How did you have that mental toughness? How did you maintain that mental toughness to make it through? How long is Ranger School?
So Ranger School is 62 days.
Okay.
If you make it straight through. A lot of people recycle, which is fine. You have an infraction here, so you recycle a phase. Some people end up doing anywhere from 60 to 180 days because they just stay and recycle, which I admire. Because if I had a recycle, man, like you break down so much. So during the first phase, we're allotted it's called like a family day. You get 8 hours. So my wife came and it wasn't me. It was like, wow, you smell. And it's your muscle is deteriorating because it's not getting fed.
Wow.
Like you just have that stench about you. I couldn't smell it. I was like, what you talking about? And it's just, so people who recycle, man, I commend them because doing that for 180 days, it'll wear you down. But I made it straight through.
So were you always somebody that you had mental toughness? Was that just something you were born with?
Absolutely.
How did you develop that?
Immediately, no. And I think that is built off of your life. I do think God orders your steps in a sequence.
Yeah.
So everything that I've been through and am going through is just another step to allow me to grow.
I love it.
Because, in the military, let's just use the military, everything that I went through until that point allowed me to be mentally tough.
Love it.
And then, to me, I wasn't doing nothing crazy. Like, sleeping in the and we didn't even sleep, but laying on the ground. The thing that people don't talk about in Ranger School, everybody's hung up on, the physical, the running, the run. No. Let's talk about laying in the woods when it's pouring down rain and you have no shelter.
Wow.
A lot of people have never been outside. I'm not talking for like 10 minutes and you're running to your car.
That's
just
true.
lay in the dirt. Now you're wet. Your socks are wet. Your boots. You're hungry. and you're just laying there in the dark. And by the way, don't fall asleep or they're going to kick you out.
Wow.
It's a different kind of, Ranger School was the first day in my life that I stayed up for 24 hours plus and realized, wow, I am able to function. Because don't complain, because if you complain in Ranger School, you have a thing called peers.
Wow.
So after every phase, your peers that you work with in the course, they get to rate you.
Wow.
Honestly, hey, Simmons sucks.
Wow,
she didn't hold her weight. If you do all of that, you got to be cognizant that them boys are going to be like, man, she didn't. They will peer you out.
So wait, so you were the only female in your group?
Yes. So each company, from what I could remember, because it goes 8, Alpha Bravo Charlie had one female. Me and one other woman went straight through, and then the other girl recycled. When we did make it down to about 80 students, I think we picked up some other people from the other cycles. I think we graduated like 80 or 90. I think we picked up another woman.
Wow.
So there's not a lot.
And so at any point, you know, somebody or a group of men could have decided they just didn't want you to have it.
100%.
And they could have voted 100%. You out. Wow.
100%.
That's the aspect of this that I think most people don't understand. And even if you don't know much about military or you don't understand Ranger School, the people who have served in the military, they understand that.
Right.
If she was able to make it through, First Sergeant Simmons was able to make it through, and there was an easy chance that you could have just been peered out. Anybody who wanted to badge protect.
There's 3 phases.
Yeah, who wanted to badge protect or keep you from doing it
Definitely.
because of your color, because of your gender, they could have easily voted you out.
Yep.
So you not only had to hold your own weight, you had to earn their trust.
100%.
And earn their respect.
Yep.
So I mean that's one of those things that, you know, people don't value enough when they hear your story. It's not just that you made it straight through Ranger School, you made it through and you didn't get peered out.
Right.
So what do you feel like you learned about yourself in that process?
I learned a lot. I mean, if you're talking about Ranger tasks, I probably forgot a lot. Not gonna lie, but the mental aspect, like I learned to not complain about minute things, and it's so powerful. You know, every situation we have choices. Do I complain about it or do I not? You know, the reason, the medical stuff I'm going through right now, a big reason why I'm not like, oh my God, it doesn't, it's crazy. My mom asks me every day, how are you doing? I forget I have it. Which is crazy, but Ranger School, when you go through something so just taxing on your mind, because again, the first week is all physical. Everything out after that is, in my opinion, is mental. Can you put one foot in front of the other? So the mental, it sharpened my mind, and it made me realize how powerful I am, because everybody said I couldn't do it. If I had there was, I don't, maybe a handful of people, and I don't know if they believed it in their heart, but maybe they loved me and they told me I could do it. A handful of people. Everybody else was like, girl, you better don't even go because you're going to pack up so quick. And it showed me that no matter what they say, as long as you believe, you can do anything.
You know, that really kicks off, you know, I wanted to get this introduction done. So a lot of people knew what your story was and kind of like why you are famous. You joke about it, but why you are a celebrity. And so, so the thing about it is what I've seen from you throughout the years is your genuine ability to help others. You want to help others. You want to support others. You're passionate about that. And those people who know me, that's why my company is eager to motivate. I want to motivate people to do things that they may not have thought they could have done. Somebody put that seed in you that you could go to Ranger School and you could succeed, and you did that. And I see you sowing that seed into other people. And so now I've seen your passion for running. And when I kind of saw that, it was a light bulb click. You know, I saw the light bulb go on because that was my tie between us. Because, you know, I ran track in college, and, you know, we have a run group in my fitness community. And so I saw your desire to help others tied to your love for running. And I was like, man, that's a perfect pairing. So when you were getting ready for Ranger School, there's a run portion to that as well.
Absolutely.
How'd you prepare your body for the runs that you had to do to make sure you not only made it into Ranger School, but you were able to succeed while you were there?
So, and I was talking to Brad. So I ran my first marathon was like 20, 2011, 2012. I mean, 5 hours 30, ran 16 miles. I couldn't tell you what pace, but then we walked the 10. Because in my mind, I was just ignorant. Like, oh, I ran 10 miles before. It's just a marathon. Absolutely not. And then I quit. And I ran my first half marathon again in 2017.
Okay.
And then in 2018, I was going to Ranger School. At that time, I didn't know anything about zone training, didn't have a watch, didn't know anything about shoes, just go do it. And I started, again, without the education, but I just started running. How did I train for Ranger School? I literally trained to exhaustion. So I didn't have because a lot of people ask me for a plan. I didn't have a plan because in Ranger School, they don't have a plan. They know what's on the docket, but oh, by the way, they're going to smoke you. They're going to make you do lunges, push anything they want to do is free get for hours. How do you train for that? I can't tell you, hey, go in the gym, 3x5 squat. But no. That's not how that works. So I would go to the gym. I would run 6 miles slow, go do deadlifts and squats, hit a ruck. The next day I would do sprints, immediately followed by a ruck. It was chaotic. I worked out so much that I really lost the passion for it.
Wow.
I worked out so much I didn't want to work out anymore. But I knew what had to be done. And I wanted to stress my body, go run a 10 miles at a 7-minute pace, then pick up a 60-pound ruck and hit 8 miles. So you just train your body like in your mind. That's why when I did go to Ranger School, I knew I did this in training. I'll be able to do this. So it kind of, shaped that. And then over the years, after Ranger School, I was like, hey, run another half marathon, see if you can do it faster. During my second deployment, I actually learned about zone training and I tried it. I was very patient and my God, it worked. And then got injured a lot. I got injured about 2 to 3 times. That took me out for about 2 to 4 months. Again, didn't know about shoes, didn't know about foot. I didn't know anything about anything.
All these things make you a better coach.
Man, so my last injury, I qualified. So my goal then was to qualify for Boston. Ran like 3 marathons back to back. I did one in July of 2022. Qualified 7-4, killing it. The next week, I'm like, man, I'm feeling good. Hit the track and my foot. It was on top of my foot and my big toe. And I was like, what is this? 4 months out the game.
Dang.
Qualified for Boston, 740 pace for 26.2. When I finally healed up in November, I was back at a 10:45 for 2 miles. So you can imagine the mental, just like, so I did all of that. And now I'm running 10:30 miles again. I read books. I mean, I educated myself before I even hit the road again. And I learned so much. I haven't been injured since. And I mean, I've broken all my records. Now my, marathon time was like, most recent was like 7:10 pace, half marathon, like 6:40. So that injury, I would argue, is the best thing that could have happened to me in my running career, if you will.
I love it. And those things, in my opinion, and from being a coach for all these years, it's like you have to learn through sometimes trial and error so you can better prepare your clients to not get injured. Because if you have blistering speed, crushing all these PRs, but then you get injured,
you're done.
Now you're sitting out for a long time. Okay, so how did you start? I've been through that as well, where like I've done something so much that I kind of lose a love for it. So how did you start to regain your love for running? Because now you love running. It's something you're passionate about, you're an advocate for. So along that process, how'd you reinvigorate your love for running?
So, again, I'll go back to that injury. Then when I started running again, I just told myself, I had to ask myself, why do you run? And I would say I love it, but I also hate it because nobody wakes up and is like, oh, I'm gonna run 10. You know what I'm saying? And then if you don't do the run, now you feel bad all day. But I had to ask myself, why do you run? Do you do it for the little medal? Do you? I didn't do it for all that. I like the feeling of having purpose to wake me up.
I love it.
The night before I go to sleep, I'm like, man, I got 10 miles tomorrow. Ooh, thank God it's easy, or it is hard, whatever the case may be. And I create that standard for myself.
Like it.
And then again, when you start at a 10:30, you can be upset that you used to be at whatever, but then you see that 10:30, 10:25, 10:50. It just re-energized, like, man, it does work. I still got it. Let me just keep it up. I know where I'll be in 6 months.
Facts.
And then what I think is just so important for running is setting goals. May that be to finish a 5K, 10K, whatever it is, you need something to look forward to, because if not, if you're not I could run for a year and just run.
Right.
I don't need that because I've done so much. But for somebody who's just doesn't really like running, set that goal, because when you accomplish it, it turns on that hunger, and they become hungry for more and more education. Let me get a little bit faster. Let me go a little bit further. You have to keep it spicy. It's like a relationship. If it's not spicy, if I'm always just running a 10-minute mile, I'm going to get bored. Let me dap in the 9s, the 8s, the 6s. Now I'm doing my sprints almost in the you see what I'm saying? Just keep it spicy.
I love it. And now, what made you start to, I know you've trained a lot of soldiers and you helped a lot of young soldiers, pass their fitness tests and things like that. What made you really want to help people with their running?
So I think a lot of people don't like running because I think it's hard. And I don't want to say lifting weights is easier. I would say the act of lifting weights is a little more comfortable. All right, let me get on the bench. I'm going to lift weights. But running, as soon as you start running, it just does something to your soul. So I want to teach people that, people immediately say, I'm not good at running. Well, I'm not good at speaking Russian either because I don't practice Russian. If you practice the act, you'll become successful. So I want people to see the reason I like to do things like, Ranger School and drill and running and all these things and be great at it, that people want to follow me. And once I have them in my capacity I have them, now I can teach them. This is where I was. This is where I am. Every emotion you're going through, I've been there 10 times over. So just listen to me that way, because I didn't have anybody to listen to. But listen to me when I tell you, you might run for a year and get minimal gain, but it is gain. Because I like to tell people running is measured in a millisecond. When they do them sprints, you got 9.87 Olympic gold, 9.82. You didn't even get bronze.
It's true.
So people want to run for 2 weeks and expect they're going to, drop 5 minutes off their 10K time. That might take you 6 months. 6 months. So if you're willing to get 1 minute, 1 month, but I'm telling you, you might have to run 5 to 6 days a week consistently. A lot of people aren't willing to do that. So I'm trying to show you it takes time, but if you do it, and you just got to chip away. Chip away. 1 year, 2 year, you'll be a whole different runner in 2 years. It's crazy.
That was a good one. I like that because Usain Bolt, that's my favorite runner. He talked about how much he had to train for milliseconds.
He said he had to train 4 years for 9 seconds, and people want to train for 4 days and expect it's crazy. And it's so true. It's so true.
So there's so many different capacities of running. There's marathons, there's ultras, all that. When it comes to your coaching, who do you want to target? Or do you not want to box yourself in? Who would you like to target for your run?
So I like to target, I'm a long distance runner. I got my first ultra on Saturday. Honestly, I could target anybody because the science can be applied to whatever you're trying to do, whatever realm you're trying to do. I like to target, honestly, anybody who wants help. If you're reaching out for help, you want to get better. And if I'm that person for you, I can't tell you how to break, 15 minutes for the 5K. I haven't done it. Maybe I just need to keep running to reach that. But I like to tell you how to, qualify for Boston, run ultra marathons, sub 130 half marathon, Army 2-miler. A lot of people that magic number's a 13. I've ran a 1240. So I know how to break different barriers. Oh, by the way, I can still deadlift, 280. I'm still there's so many aspects that go into it. So anybody who wants help and they want it for me, I would love to help them.
So as we get ready to close, I really want to hit on something that it may generate some conversation. It might be it might be
controversial.
No, I don't do clickbait. But so I ran in college, right? When I came in the military, I was able to run fast, basically because I was a collegiate athlete. Being able to run fast in the military got me, put in places just by being able to run fast. From my time of entering the Army. So I got placed where, other lieutenants weren't because I could run fast. And so a lot of people, when it comes to the military, they don't see how important it is to be physically fit. Not just a bunch of muscles. You got to be able to run. The military really values running. It is something that the military values. So when I came in, there was no intro to running in the military. There was no run coach.
Figure it out.
There was nobody because, as a lieutenant, I'm a platoon leader.
Right.
I got young soldiers coming to formation to run PT in Michael Jordans and Jordans. Those are not running shoes. Those are basketball shoes. And so there's no, and this is no stab. I love the Army. I'm a proud vet, 21 years, baby.
Yeah.
But there is not a focus on proper training for all the running that we do.
Right.
And I'm telling you, we ran a ton.
I believe it.
Especially, I started out in field artillery. And so we ran up and down our dens all day long. And so, but there was no focus on that, on proper insoles, on proper shoes, on proper stretching, on proper recovery. It was, hey, get out there and go run.
Yep.
And so I see a lot of soldiers, even officers as well, that just don't understand proper run form, proper run technique, proper shoes, all those things, and how impactful that could be for their career. Being able to increase your score on your fitness test could be the difference between you getting an early promotion
100%.
or no promotion,
Yes.
And so I how many people reach out to you, soldiers and other fellow, first sergeants and now soon to be sergeant majors? How many people reach out to you to ask for help on their runs?
So now it's a lot. I think, if you consistently, people like data. So if I see you lifting every day in the gym, like, gym pose, and you take picture, but I don't know your data. Why don't you take that to a competition if you're always doing this? So what I do, because I love to train, but then on the races, I'm not shy to show my time because I want people to see that there's data. Like, I'm talking the talk, but I'm walking the walk.
Facts.
So now, I posted my PT score the other day with the 2 mile, and a lot of women, not to knock or whatever, but they can't run sub 13 after all of that. So I posted that, and it blew up because people were like, "Whoa, she actually does it in real life."
Hold on, we can't gloss over that. We about to wrap it. We can't gloss over that. So you had to run. So a lot of people, non-military folks, don't understand the new physical fitness test.
Right.
So real quick, it's more like a CrossFit Games than just a fitness test. So you have to deadlift, you have to do a sprint, you have to do push-ups, you got to do, you used to do not pull-ups, but plank,
push, hand release push-ups, wall throw. I mean, it seems like a lot, but if you're active, personally, I don't think it's that much. I like it because I feel like it is more of a warm up to the run versus just doing sit-ups and push-ups. But yeah, you that's not your just dry 2 miler, because I probably, I wonder what I could do if I'm just warming up a little, coming out the gate, So that caught some traction. Because now they believe. They're so
hold on. So you do all that stuff, and then you still ran 12:40 run on 2 miles.
It was hard.
But listen, a lot of people can't do that without doing all that stuff.
That's fair.
And so, like you said, that gives you, that validates that not only are you able to coach people, but you're out there showing the benefits of your own lessons learned and your own training. I love that, man. Okay, so hold on. So I want to keep this interview going forever, but I can't make it too long. This is only going to be the first of many. We're going to definitely bring Jay back and talk to her again. But just super excited to have you on the team.
Of course, I'm pumped.
Yeah, super excited to have you. We're eager to run because you are, someone that we pursued because of your passion for helping others, your passion for running. And I can't wait to see all the people that you help, not only civilians, but all the military people that you'll be able to help, that, you can create training plans for and things like that, because it's needed.
Yes.
I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I know that there's only so much time in the military days, so we got to focus on what we focus on, on readiness and things like that. But being able to be a good runner, if you're going to ask me to run, is a part of readiness.
I tell brand new soldiers, I say, if you could just be physically fit and hold that pace throughout your career, it just does something to your success. Because people, and it doesn't now with the ACFT, doesn't necessarily just have to be running, but physical fitness is not just physical fitness. It's a sign of discipline.
Facts.
Because I don't want to wake up every day at 3 and run and ruck, but I know it is a necessity. Because if I don't do it then, it's just a sign of overall discipline. Because if you're disciplined in one area in your life, 9 times out of 10, it'll carry over.
I love it.
So that shows a leader like, man, they're going out of their way to work out. I do it with my soldiers. When I have those soldiers that work out or run or whatever, they're usually very good soldiers in other aspects. So I think it's a sign of discipline.
So as we close, what would you, if somebody is, okay, they didn't know anything about you, they just saw you on this podcast and they're like, oh man, I'm fired up, I'm motivated, she got me ready to run through a wall. What advice would you give them as they pursue, coaching from you? Because for me, if it's anybody coming to train with me, I tell them, you got to have a strong reason why you want it for yourself. Because if you don't really want it for yourself, I can give you the best training plan, I can give you the best coaching, but if you don't want it for yourself, it's not the piece that I could give you. So once you have that why, that reason why you want to get healthy, you want to get off the medications, you want to lose that body fat, I got you all day long. But you got to come in wanting it for yourself. Right. What's something you tell your future clients?
The best way I could say, and what I'll tell anybody, is to consistently stay in your lane. What I mean by that is, I'll give you a 1-month training plan.
I like it.
If you are not consistent and you're like, Simmons not going to know if I skip this run and this run. I'll know. You have to consistently put in the work and stay in your lane. That means, sure, I can be your coach, but if I'm running 6-minute miles, be inspired, but know that that is not you at that time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Because so many people will be like, man, Simmons is running. I've been running for, I told you 2017. So plus or minus, let's say, 6 years. You can't just get 6 years in the bank overnight.
Facts.
So stay in your lane and be happy with the progress that you make. Because again, it's measured in milliseconds. And the consistency, man, I make so many run plans. People will run for a week. They'll get uncomfortable. And it's like, start skipping runs and they'll just stop. And then they come back and it's like, oh, well, but then I have the other ones that are just committed and they do everything I tell them to do. 4 months, drop 4 minutes in a month.
I love it.
Because they're just consistent. So stay in your lane. I think that'll be the biggest message.
I love it. And that stay in your lane applies to a lot of stuff in life. But Jay, I appreciate you so much coming. I was trying to keep the interview short, but I want to talk about so many more things. So again,
we'll keep it going.
We'll have a part 2 because viewers got to keep them in that window. You know what I mean? But we will have another part 2 with you. Okay. And we'll cover even more your life lessons and things that you've applied to your run coaching and stuff like that. But I feel like this has been a great introduction. Even though there's so many more layers of things you've accomplished in your life and things that you've done and just in running and whatnot, that I would love to talk about. But I think this is enough for people who didn't know much about you to kind of understand who you are. Definitely. And again, why we sought to get you on our team and stuff like that. So thank you.
No, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Of course.
Talk about running all day.
I know, right? But you will see more of Jay Simmons. In Eager to Run, you'll see more of her doing great things in the military. She's still active duty. That's her first and foremost responsibility. So you'll see her out there leading soldiers as she heads on to the Sergeant Major's Academy.
Next year, I'll get a star. It's crazy.
And for those of you who don't know, that's the highest rank you can make in the enlisted ranks. And so from there, you become a command sergeant major when you take command, and that's going to be her path as well. I know it's coming. It's coming. And I'm already going to put this on you because me and General Beagle feel the same way.
Oh, don't do it. Don't even do it.
Future Sergeant Major of the Army.
Everybody doing that.
Future Sergeant Major of the Army.
If God wants it, I will do it. If he wants me to do it, I'll do
I see it coming. It's already written on your life path. Unless you choose or God chooses otherwise. Right. But I definitely see big things in your future, and I'm excited that we get to have you for our clients and for all the people that don't know yet that they can love running.
They don't know it yet. It'll change your whole life. Change your life.
All right. Well, hey, great job, great interview. I hope you guys take this time. And what's your Instagram?
Instagram. That's so THATS.tight with 2 I's.
Okay. We'll also tag in the comments. Follow her on Instagram. You will be inspired. To me, she's the female David Goggins. You will see a lot more of her. But I hope you enjoyed this interview. You'll see more. If you're interested in run coaching with her, you can reach out to us and we'll get you connected. Y'all take care.